there will be upliftment in the business process. China, are you getting it? Please be responsive in my class.
Yes,
China.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And dear, if you face any problem, you have joined in the middle, but still if you face any problem, do ask me. Huh? Write down positive steps to rationalize the tax rate. Positive steps to rationalize the tax rates for over 100 commodities. Positive steps to rationalize the tax rate for over 100 commodities by changing the tax slabs. By changing the tax slabs for them and increasing the threshold limit for composite tax, increasing the threshold limit for composite tax has already resulted in increasing the threshold limit for composite tax has already resulted in reduction of the cost of doing business. Reduction in the cost of doing business. So there will be ease of doing business. Cost of doing business will decrease. Okay. In long term. Okay. Now, first of all, let's talk about all these points, effect on the manufacturing sector in the midterm. Now, pay attention, everyone. We have already seen that GST has been launched as a solution of various problems that were prevalent in the indirect taxation system of India. Fine. There were several problems such as multiple tax. There was, I have told you, more than 40 taxes were there, right? In indirect taxes, there were more than 40 taxes of different forms. Plus, there was tax on tax thing. What is this tax on tax? That if a cost of a commodity is 100 rupees and 10% is the tax rate, so the cost becomes 110 rupees. Cost becomes 110 rupees. Now, another tax will be imposed on this 110 rupees. So, tax is imposed on already paid taxes. Tax on tax. And that's what your cascading effect is. It keeps on building up. So, such were the problems in the system of indirect taxes in India. Due to this, GST was launched to counter these problems. Okay, we have already discussed all these things, right? Now, when GST is launched, so the analysis is given that what will be the effect of GST, the study and observations. So if we talk about manufacturing sector, so in the short term, we had already seen that there will be increase in the compliance cost. Compliance cost means that a new tax regime has been introduced. So what will happen? It will take some time to settle in, right? Till it settles in, there will be some problems. People will find it difficult to adjust with it. Thereby, to comply with it will become costlier effort, right? All these things we have seen that in short term, there will be reverse charge mechanism, right? Because firms which are not having registration in GST, their turnover is less than 40 lakh. Okay. If now larger firms won't do business with them. Why? because if they will do business with them, then they'll have to pay GST on their behalf. So all these things we have done in short-term analysis. Let's talk about middle term, what will happen after some time. Okay, once the GST is introduced, what will happen after some time? So the efforts are that logistic cost will be reduced, right? The factors will be logistic cost. What is the logistic cost? Logistic cost is the conveyance cost. When you are moving your goods and commodities from one place to another, you have to pay for it, right? Transportation and all, you have to pay for it. That comes under logistic cost. So your logistic cost is going to get reduced. Why? Because warehouses will be created. When warehouses will be created, so goods can be, commodities can be stored in the warehouses. And if goods and commodities are stored in the warehouses, so the transportation distance will reduce, right? Plus, entry tax will also be removed after some time. The entry tax. What is this entry tax? We have already seen different types of taxes. So entry tax is a tax that you have to pay when you enter from one state to another with your goods. Okay. So this entry tax will be removed. Thereby, your logistic cost will be reduced. Fine. Second point, cascading effect. Cascading effect is one of our biggest problem, that is tax on tax effort. Now, when your entry tax is getting removed, when your compliance cost is reducing, so what will happen? Tax on tax thing is automatically going to wipe out from the scene. Multiple tax points, that is, on the same commodity, you have to pay taxes at different times. Different taxes are imposed on the same commodity. Now, GST has been launched as a solution of this problem. So, after some time, these multiple tax points, they will also be removed. There won't be multiple taxes on the commodity. Getting my point? Is it clear, guys? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Saina, are you understanding? Next is increasing.
Yes, sir.
Increasing threshold limit for composite tax. Threshold limit, what is threshold limit? What is threshold? Yeah, what is threshold limit? See, threshold means the point after which things become active. Point after which things become active. For example, you are pushing a box that is kept on the floor. So if box is heavy, so it's not like you will apply very small amount of efforts and box will start moving. No, there is a limit. Okay, there is a limit. You have to apply greater force than that limit in order to slide the box. So that limit is the threshold limit to move the box. Getting my point? Is this threshold limit clear? So increasing threshold limit for composite tax means that the limit after which the earning, the sales after which composite taxes should be applied, that limit will be increased. Okay? Come on, what has happened to you guys today? You are so uninteractive that it... Guys, please be interactive in the class. This is not the way. You are not here to listen to some story that you are sitting and enjoying, and I am doing a play on the stage. Okay. Anyway. So, production in cost of doing business. Production in cost of doing business means what? That your production, see, if you are reducing the threshold, so your cost of doing business is also going to get decreased, because there won't be many taxes, multiple taxes won't be there. So now the ease of doing business will be there. That's what our PM says, ease of doing business. So this will also be established via GST, but after some time, not immediately. Is this thing clear or not, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now let's talk about long term. So in long, write down
Sir,
long term.
actually,
Yes, what? Yes, Sangeeta, what?
सर आपने कैस्केडिंग इफेक्ट बताया था और क्वेश्चन में आपने दिया भी था कैस्केडिंग इफेक्ट एंड टैक्स ऑन टैक्स. So is there any difference between two terms?
Yes. Cascade means once it has built up, and tax on tax is a process by which taxes are built up. Cascading is an entire thing. Once there is tax on tax, the entire amount is built up, it rises up. This is cascading effect. And tax on tax means that you are applying tax over another tax. The result of tax on tax is cascading effect. Clear?
Means, sir, tax on tax means part of cascading.
You are building a building. Let's say you are building a building. Okay. So now when you are building the building, you are building one floor, then you will build second floor, then you will build third floor. So this entire building is known as cascade. And while you are building it, this process is known as tax on tax. You are putting one floor over another floor. Clear or not? Say at least yes or no.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, मुझे लग रहा है कि आज नेटवर्क इशू है. हम यहाँ से आवाज दे रहे हैं, but
Okay. So what you can do is that if this issue is prevalent, in your case it is prevalent. So what you can do, you can at least type the message. Type the message so that I will get the signal. Anyway, now let's talk about long-term effect. Okay, write down in the long term. That means from 3 to 4 years. In 3 to 4 years. In long term, tax rates will stabilize. In the long term, tax rates will stabilize. So now the government and the GST Council will be clear that what tax should be imposed on what commodity or service. So thereby there won't be any more variation in the taxes. Like we have observed in our past that when GST was introduced, there were several taxes on the commodities and then rates were revised, right? In few commodities, taxes were reduced. In some commodities, taxes were increased. So taxes were variable at that time, right? Because government was in the observatory process, right? If you introduce something, you first observe its impact, and after some time you get the clear concept that what should be done. So after 3 to 4 years, government will be all clear, and then your tax rates will stabilize. There won't be further variation in the tax rates. Okay. Compliance cost will reduce. Compliance cost will be reduced. Now people will be well familiar with the taxes and the system, so the compliance cost is automatically going to reduce. Compliance cost will reduce. And efficiency of industries will improve efficiency of industries will improve due to better chain management. So now efficiency of industries will also improve. Right, because tax rates have stabilized, so the cost of purchasing raw material, everything, or compliance or logistic, everything is going to get reduced. Yes or no? So now industries will start performing better. What is efficiency? Efficiency means if you compare the input cost and if you compare the output cost, so the ratio of them, so this will improve. Why? Because input cost is going to get decreased. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's what chain management means. More number of registered firms gradually, as people will start understanding the GST, more and more firms will be registered under GST. So more number of registered firms and increased business activities. More firms will get registered. And as more firms are registered, we have already discussed in the short-term effects that smaller firms are not going to get registered. But as the process runs for 3-4 years, now firms will be acknowledged with the working of this GST system, and they will start getting themselves enrolled in it. So when they will start getting enrolled in it, number of registered firms will increase. So automatically business activities will increase. Yes or no? More number of registered firms. So this will lead to more business activities. Saina, are you getting it? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Absolutely right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Write down. All this will present an opportunity. All this will present an opportunity to the government. All this will present an opportunity to the government to reduce the tax rate. All this will present an opportunity for the government to reduce the tax rate and tax slabs. So initially everything is on experimental basis. As the things settle out, now government is well clear with the implementation of the tax, the effects of this tax. So now government will reduce taxes on certain commodities. The tax slabs will be brought down. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Write down the next point, leave a line and write. In the short run, inflation will rise. In the short run, inflation will rise. So, if you talk about short run, 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, less than 1 year after the implementation of tax, so the result is inflation is going to rise. What is inflation? Prices of the things are increasing. Can anyone tell me what's the reason for the rise of inflation after the introduction of GST? My question, pay attention to my question. My question is, GST has been launched as a remedy of the sick taxation system, indirect taxation system of India, which was sick, which was not efficient. So GST has been launched as a remedy, as a solution to that taxation system. So if GST is the solution to that taxation system, then why is GST leading to inflation? If GST is the solution, then why is GST leading to inflation? See, you are sick, you are feverish, you are having fever, and you take a medicine to improvise your health, to reduce your fever. And what I am saying, that in short term, your fever is going to rise. So what's the use of medicine? That's my question. Yes, guys. So why will inflation rise? Yeah, anyone?
Sir, demand increase due to reduction in price.
What prices decreased? Which price decreased? How come price decreased? Yes, Mr. Akash, Kanshika, Santosh, Shayan, Kushpreet, all of you. No idea. Write down, as most of the service tax, was taxed at 15%. Initially, before the advent of GST, your service tax was 15%. Most of the service tax was taxed at 15%. Now it is at a flat rate of 18%. After GST, the service tax for the commodities became 18%. Now it is at the flat rate of 18%. Right? That's why you might have observed, at that time you guys were too young. Anyway, still you might have observed the commotion that once GST was launched, the prices of things started increasing. Did anyone notice it or not? Yeah. When GST was launched, prices of commodities, they started increasing. Sangeeta, you might have observed in 2017-18. Okay. Write down, increase in service tax rate is due to two reasons. Increase in service tax rate is due to two reasons. Number one, new services brought into tax level. Sorry, new services brought into tax net. New services bought into tax net. That means the service initially, the services on which there was no tax, now those services were also bought under the taxes. Now taxes were imposed on those services. So that's what this point means, that new services bought into tax net. Clear? Second point, increase in the tax rate. Increase in the tax rate. Clear? So due to these two
Yes,
factors,
sir.
in the short run, inflation is going to rise, prices of the commodities will increase, because new services also have taxes now, and from 15%, the tax has been increased to 18%. Compliance cost is also going to increase. Yeah, obviously, when something is new, something is fresh, so to comply with it is going to be a costlier thing. So compliance cost. Write down, in medium run, in medium run, tax burden will become lesser. In medium run, tax burden will become lesser because under GST, input tax credit is allowed. In GST, input tax credit is allowed for all transactions. Input tax credit is allowed for all transactions of the firm. What is input tax credit, Akash?
Yes, sir.
What is input tax credit?
सर इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट वो होता है सर जो कि गुड्स पर लगाया जाता है सर फॉर एडजस्टमेंट। सर मैं बताता हूँ कि अगर अगर कोई फर्म है कि सर अगर गुड्स परचेज कर रही है एट द टाइम उसको भी टैक्स देना पड़ता है, तो सर तो आफ्टर सेलिंग उसके बाद पर सर वो दूसरा गुड्स फिर जब वो इनपुट से आउटपुट में कन्वर्ट होता है सर, तब व्हेन इनपुट से आउटपुट में वो जब वो कन्वर्ट हो जाता है सर, तो आउटपुट पे भी सर वो फाइनल पे भी उसको टैक्स देना पड़ता है, तो सर फिर गवर्नमेंट उसको क्रेडिट करती है एज अ मतलब कंपनसेट करती है।
Okay.
तो दैट्स इट इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट।
Kanshika? Kanshika, are you there? What is input tax credit?
Yes, sir. Input tax basically means जब सर एक firm सर जो पीछे की जैसे एक बेकरी है, it is going to include the rate, the tax on the farmers that levy on it, on the purchasing from the farmers, sir, वो include होके government लेगी, but later on it will give back to the farmers, like 1.06% will go to the farmer and rest will go to the government, sir. And like this,
Sahina, did you understand what is input tax credit?
आई थिंक सो सर। मतलब इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट का मतलब वो होता है कि
No. You just tell me that from the explanation of Akash and Kanshika, did you properly understood what input tax credit is?
नॉट क्वाइट सर, इट्स नॉट क्लियर।
See, Akash and Kanshika, you are explaining in such a way that she is not able to understand. Then how come examiner will understand? Akash, you explained it very badly. Kanshika, yours was better than Akash, but still not up to the mark. Okay, Sangeeta, you explain what is input tax credit.
सर इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट बेसिकली रॉ मटेरियल जैसे परचेज किया जाता है बाय एनी कंपनीज, so they have to pay a particular tax and the raw material is converted into the output. जब आउटपुट को सेल किया जाता है तो अगेन दे हैव टू चार्ज द टैक्स एंड दे हैव टू गिव द गवर्नमेंट। तो जो रॉ मटेरियल पर ऑलरेडी टैक्स पे किया गया था तो उसको गवर्नमेंट जो प्रोड्यूसर होता है वो वापस क्लेम करता है। So basically this is the process of input tax credit.
Diana, what about this one?
यस सर। Yes
Understood?
sir. Yes sir.
Good, Sangeeta. See, the thing is, if there is some firm A, it is producing something, it is making a product. Okay, product. Now, if firm is making a product, so it will need raw material. When firm A is purchasing raw material, it will pay tax. Yes or no, Saina? Now,
Yes, sir.
when firm will sell, firm will make a product from this raw material. then firm is going to sell this product to some other firm, let us say B. Yes or no? So B is going to pay for this product, right or wrong? When B is going to pay this payment will include the tax also. This payment will include the GST also. Yes or no? So now this A has collected GST from the payment of B, and this A is going to give this GST to government. So what government is going to do? Government got its GST. Now government is going to refund this raw material tax which was paid by A earlier. This will be refunded to A. This refund is known as input tax credit. Right? Because if government won't refund, then what will happen? Government is taking tax 2 times on the same commodity. That's why government is going to refund. When B is going to sell the product to C, so C is also going to pay for it. This payment will include the tax. Now, B will again pay to the government, and government is going to refund the tax which B paid to A. Yes or no? Is it now clear, Saina?
Yes, sir.
And the process is going to continue, and at the end customer is going to purchase. So the overall burden will be on customer, not on the firms. So that's why I said that in the midterm, what will happen? In the midterm, tax burden is going to reduce because of this input tax credit thing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now write down. In the long term, government can improve in 3 areas. Government can improve in 3 areas for increasing tax base. So in the long run, government can improve in 3 areas. For improving the tax base and decreasing the tax rate. So in the long run, tax rates will be decreased by improvising the 3 areas, and the tax base means number of firms or individuals paying tax. So number of firms that are paying tax will be increased, but the rate of tax will be decreased, right? Getting my point? And still the revenue won't get affected. Why? Because number of people has increased. So revenue won't reduce. Rather, revenue will increase. Even after the reduction of tax rates, revenue will increase because the base is getting increased. Clear or not? Fine.
Yes, sir.
So what are these 3 areas? Write down the 3 areas. Number 1, reducing the tax on maintenance overhaul. Reducing the tax on maintenance overhaul and repair at airports from 18% to 5%. From 18% to 5%, because it will encourage airline companies to use domestic services. It will encourage airline companies to use domestic services. So if repairing tax and all these things are decreased by 13% from 18% to 5%, so what will happen? The airline companies which are presently doing only international businesses, international flights, these companies will also start domestic flights because cost is less. Yes or no? Less amount of tax, so less cost. When cost is less, these companies will start doing domestic business. And when they will start doing domestic business, what will happen? The tax base is going to increase. So more tax will be obtained despite of reducing tax rates. Despite of reduction of tax rate, revenue will be increased. Got it or not? Because new players will enter the business.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Saina.
Yes, sir.
Second, bringing large scale agricultural trading. Bringing large scale agricultural trading under mandatory filing. Under mandatory filing. Mandatory means compulsory. Under mandatory filing. So that the sector can be formalized. So that the sector can be formalized and the base can be increased in future. And the base can be increased in future. This was for airlines. Now what are they saying? The second thing is large agricultural firms which deal with the purchase of large agricultural goods. Yes or no? Trading firms which purchase large amount of grains from the farmers, which purchase large amount of agricultural products. Now government will make it compulsory for them to register under GST. So large agricultural firms will be registered in GST. And which firms? Trading firms. They will also be registered under GST. And when they will be registered under GST, what will happen, guys? Tax base will increase or not? More taxpayers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Third, encouraging registration. Encouraging registration.
सर आई हैव अ डाउट। सर जो ट्रेडिंग कंपनी है क्या पहली जीएसटी में इंक्लूड नहीं होती थी क्या, मतलब टैक्स के अंडर? टैक्स के अंडर
टैक्स के अंडर? कौन से टैक्स के अंडर? इन अंडर विच टैक्स?
सर जैसे बाकी कंपनीज पर टैक्स लगता था तो ट्रेडिंग कंपनी पर भी तो टैक्स
बाकी
लगता होगा।
कंपनीज, आप कौन से टैक्स की बात कर रही हैं? विच टैक्स यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट? देयर आर डायरेक्ट एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस. विच टैक्स यू आर रेफरिंग टू?
इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स सर।
इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स में सेल टैक्स वगैरह होता था, सेल टैक्स और वैट होता था, और उससे एस्केप करने के बहुत सारे तरीके थे. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड कि जो सेल टैक्स था वो हर गुड पे नहीं लगा हुआ था. सेल टैक्स हर गुड पे नहीं लगा था. अंडरस्टूड और नॉट? एग्रीकल्चरल गुड्स पे सेल टैक्स नहीं था. गेहूं और चावल पे सेल टैक्स नहीं था. Getting me? On grains there was no sales tax, there was no VAT. Point number one. And point number two, anyone from the business family, or you do business, any idea? No one is from business family? Okay.
My father.
Your father does business. Good. So
Yes,
pay attention. Under sales tax, the firms which gave sales tax, they had sales tax number. This is point number 2 for Sangeeta, not for you all. When GST was launched, after the advent of GST, even these firms which had sales tax number, they were required to get themselves registered under GST, re-registration for GST. Doesn't matter you gave sales tax or not, you have to re-register yourself. And for this, a number was given that was known as GSTIN. This was given to the firms which got themselves registered under GST. Okay, and this number is based on your Aadhaar card number. So a formalization process was made. Every firm now has their GST number, like every firm has its PAN number. I'm not talking about the entrepreneur or the business owner. Entrepreneur or business owner has a different PAN card, and the firm also has a PAN card, because both are different identities. So there is a PAN number for a firm and GST number for a firm. So re-registration was required. Understood, Sangeeta?
Yes, sir.
These things are very basic anyway. So encouraging, and you did not pay attention. I said registration of which firm? Registration of agricultural firms. And I've already told that agriculture has been exempted from most of the taxes. Yes or no? Right. Anyway. So bringing large scale agricultural trading under mandatory filing, so that the sector can be, write down, so that the sector can be formalized. Agriculture is informal sector. Hello. Agriculture is informal sector. Now government is taking steps to formalize the agricultural sector, so that the agricultural sector can be formalized and the base can be increased in future. Tax paying base can be increased in future. Clear or not, guys?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sangeeta, Saina, right? Kanshika.
Yes, sir.
Third point, encouraging registration of small service, encouraging registration of small service providers. Small service providers. Example, export trading. Export trading is taxed. Export trading is taxed at 0.3%. Okay. So small service providers are now all encouraged, and they are also included in this GST regime. They are incorporated in GST. Okay. Again, the process of increasing tax base. Clear or not, guys? Please go through all these 3 points. Read everyone?
Yes, sir.
Clear all of you? Saina understood?
Yes, sir.
Write down from the next line. Exporters have been allowed facility of e-wallet. Exporters have been given the facility of electronic wallet, e-wallet, from December 2017. From December 2017, which can be utilized for working capital from tax refunds. So now they can easily get the tax refunds by the use of e-wallets. Who? Exporters. Write down. However, the scheme has not been fully implemented. However, the scheme has not been fully implemented across all sectors. Across all sectors. Clear?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if we talk about agricultural sector, agriculture sector particularly, so put a note and write down. The impact on agriculture. The impact on agriculture will be indirect. The impact on agriculture will be indirect, as it will be influenced by taxes on backward and forward linkages. Most of the inputs like fertilizers, tractors, augmented seeds, etc., has 2 to 3% higher tax bracket. Compared to previous regime, which can increase the price in short run. However, as firms start using input tax credit facilities However, firms start using input tax credit facilities, that is ITC facilities, and taxes are rationalized, then overall cost of doing business is expected to fall in agriculture. Then overall cost of doing business is expected to fall in agriculture. Pay attention. What is it saying? It is saying that in agriculture sector, after the introduction of GST, as I have just told you in the second point, that in the trading of agricultural sector, the firms will be incorporated under GST. So that means introduction of GST in agricultural sector. So what will happen in the short run? Price of the products will increase. Price of what? Price of agricultural products. Why? See, the price is going to increase. The reason being, when agricultural products are produced, wheat is produced, rice is produced, so few things are required like fertilizers. Right? Seeds, high growing seeds, augmented seeds. All these things are required. Tractor for cultivation. And GST on these things is 2 to 3% higher in comparison to previous taxes. So in comparison to previous taxes, tax GST on fertilizers, augmented seeds, tractor is high. How much high? By 2 to 3%. Now, these things are what? These are inputs, yes or no? These are inputs. By the use of these things, agricultural products are grown, yes or no? So when the price of these products is high, so price of agricultural product is also going to increase in the short run. Clear or not?
Yes,
Price
sir.
of agricultural products will also increase in the short run. But after some time, in long run, input tax credits will start arriving. So these people, these firms are going to get input tax credits, and taxes will be readjusted, they will be rationalized. So thereby the cost will reduce and ease of doing business in agricultural sector will increase. Clear or not, everyone? China, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Saina, you will be taking online classes or you will be coming to the institute?
Sir, I will take it online only.
Okay. And tell us something about yourself. You have done graduation from which subject?
Sir, I have done economics honors, graduation in
Oh, that's
economics.
okay. Very good. Very good. From where?
The Cotton University, Assam, Guwahati.
Oh, fine. So presently you are in Guwahati?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then though you'll take online only. Have you gone through the recordings of the previous lecture from 27th?
Yes, sir. Few I have, but others I have. I will go through.
So are you understanding it properly? Huh? Any problem?
Yes, sir. No, no, sir.
Okay, that's good. Fine. If you face any problem, don't hesitate. Huh? Do ask me.
Okay, sir. Sure.
Okay. Now write down generalized benefits. What are the general benefits of GST in manufacturing sector? So we have discussed short term, mid term, long term. Now in general, point number 1, more buoyancy in economic activities. More buoyancy in economic activities due to simplification of structure. More buoyancy in economic activities due to simplification of structure. Cascading gone down. So, buoyancy in economic activity means, yes guys, what is the meaning of buoyancy in economic activities? Speak. I just told you. Akash, you are inaudible.
Sir, economic activities will increase.
Very good, Saina. Come on. Rest of you, she's a new student. I just told. She's answering and you guys are sitting. Economic activities will increase. Why will they increase? Write down, due to simplification of structure. The tax structure will be simplified, or it has been simplified by the introduction of GST, and cascading effect gone down. Fine. Next point. Better audit trail for government. Better audit trail for government to control tax evasion. So now government can properly audit and tax evasion can be controlled. What is tax evasion? People who don't give tax, they avoid taxes. Yes or no? By using different means. That is tax evasion. Right? So now tax evasion can be controlled. Third point. Integrating market of entire country. Integrating market of entire country. Now this is very beneficial and important thing. What is the meaning of integrating or integration?
Sir, to sum up, like in a
Good. Integrating means summing up, combining. So after the launch of GST, okay, first write down, integrating market of entire country with single tax rate for each commodity. With single tax rate for each commodity. Yeah, do you guys remember? I told you when we were discussing the problems that the problem was before GST, one commodity having multiple prices. Yeah, in Delhi, the price of wheat is something else. In Uttar Pradesh, it is something else. Even in the cities belonging to the same state, prices of commodities were different. Why? Because different taxes in the different cities. Yes or no? Have I told it or not?
Yes, sir.
Right. So with this thing, with the launch of GST, the entire country has become one big market. You purchase a commodity X in Delhi, same rate, same tax. You purchase, I can't say same rate because profit is also there, but yeah, same tax on it. You purchase it in Kerala, same rate. You purchase it in Guwahati, same rate of tax. So entire country becomes one big market with the single tax rate on the commodity. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
China getting it? Next is
Yes, sir.
giving benefits to Make in India. By bringing import duty into the structure by rationalizing countervailing duty. Remember countervailing tax? So by rationalizing countervailing duty and special assessment duty. So now, after the rationalization of import duty, how will a structure of import duty will be rationalized? By taking steps to rationalize countervailing duty and assessment duty. Your import duty will be rationalized. Next point, write down formalization of economy. Formalization of economy will increase tax base. When everything is formal, everything is well known, same tax on the commodity throughout the country, so entire thing is formal. So formalization of economy will increase in tax base and will improve the tax structure which will also help in Make in India. And improve the tax structure which will also help in Make in India. Because people, foreign countries, they don't manufacture in India because of these taxes structures, right? Complicated structures. Now, when the tax structure is simplified, formalized, so Make in India initiative will be promoted or will be accelerated. Got it or not, everyone? Understood properly or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Saina, enjoyed the class or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see guys, now I want you to all to do one thing for me. We are done with the benefits of GST. Still, there are problems in GST. So I want you all to write down problems. After all these benefits, still, what are the problems with GST? 5 problems. Tomorrow we will discuss the problems with GST, but first I will hear out that what problems do you think are still prevailing with the GST system. So please write down 5 problems, everyone. Understood? Akash, Kanchika, Sangeeta, Santosh,
Yes, sir.
Saina.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
And sign up from now on, please be regular, huh? Else you will miss it, and the economics is the subject, it becomes tough to catch it from between. Okay, so please be regular.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.